Thank you for joining us at 2MT98, also known as 2 More Than 98. I'm your host, Ajax, and of course, my co-host, Mrs. Ajax. How we doing?
Wait, I'm officially your co-host?
I mean, for now, you know, it's up to you if you want to take it
You
back.
said for now?
Because I don't know. Sometimes you might not be in the mood to record. And
Babe, when have you ever asked me to record and I've said no? When have you ever asked?
No, it's just that no, we don't have that issue. But what happens is that we of course, we have so many things going on, and the days of recording, you may not be available because of other obligations, which is fine.
No, that's not how it works. But we're not gonna get into that. You're my priority.
Aw, all right. So my official co-host,
Terrible business.
Mrs. Ajax.
Hi.
Don't get mad.
I feel hurt.
Nah, don't be. You know how it is. You know what's gonna happen.
What?
You're gonna be with me right now, and then let's just say all the things we have planned. You know, they might coincide with each other at one point.
We make it work. That's what we do.
Right, and at some point you may not be able to make it, and that'll be fine.
No, that's not how it works.
All right.
That's not how that works.
Okay, cool. All right. So my co-host, Mrs. Ajax.
I'm an artist and I'm sensitive.
About your shit.
Yeah.
And so am I. Speaking of art, what a debacle with the Olympics, right? I don't know if I should say her name, but you know, Ray Gunn as the B girl for the Olympics.
That was her name? From Australia?
From Australia. Her B girl name is Ray Gunn. I think her name is Rachel Gunn or something like that.
Wait, so did every competitor have a B name?
Everybody has a B-boy name. Like
they do. Like if you do breakdancing, you okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, back in the day, it used to be like he's a B-boy, right? And then now they got B girls, whatever. I mean, they did back then, but
I didn't know you.
So B-boy and B girl, and then you have your nickname. You have your stage name.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she goes by Ray Gunn, and she goes on to perform, and what a debacle.
Yeah, you told me about it.
And it's ridiculous. Like, at this point, you have to understand that she will be the meme for ridiculousness, unpreparedness.
Was it? Okay.
Culture vulturing.
What? We disagree about the culture vulturing.
How we disagree?
Because I don't think it's culture vulturing, because had she performed like beautifully, you know what I mean? You would have been like, yo, that was crazy. I think there are people that, again, are not appropriating other cultures. I think there are people who just genuinely appreciate culture other than their own. However, in this case, I think you told me that she has a PhD in breakdancing?
She has a PhD in breakdancing.
Which I've never heard of.
Which I don't understand.
Like, what does that entail?
I don't understand how you get a PhD in breakdancing, because if that was the case, almost every person I know, like my generation, and
would get one?
They would get one, because this is what you grew up with. This is what you were doing.
But most PhD programs that I can't speak in general. I can only speak in in the field of psychology or whatever, are 5 years. So, right? Because you do so much research in a PhD, not a PsyD. You do so much research in a PhD. You have to do so much reading, and there's so much literature. So I'm just wondering, how long is that PhD program?
Where did they teach that at? Like, you're all the way in New Zealand. Not saying that you guys can't
Australia. It's
Australia, at this point.
Okay.
Listen, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's just that the annoyance.
I think it was Australia.
Okay, that's fine. Thing is, you get a PhD in this, right? Not saying that you guys can't appreciate the culture, but where are they teaching this at? Because I've never heard of a breakdancing class in any school out here, and then let alone for you to get a PhD. And then on top of that, you feel like since you got a PhD, in breakdancing, you're going to go ahead and participate in it. Now, what I just found out was her and her husband, who go into this whole b-boy thing and breakdancing, they actually pretty much just not let the people that really know how to break dance in their area, and of course in the outer ranges of where they decided to open up a place, they wouldn't let these people participate just so that they could do their own thing. And at this point, she's basically the only qualifying person in her group since she started the whole organization in her area. So that's why right. So now there's a whole petition going on, basically blaming her for ruining breakdancing for her area or maybe the country. Yep. Now, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying at this point, was it Australia? May not even be able to participate in next year's, next the Olympic.
No, I saw an article, and it's 4 years from now because the next
it's 4 years.
It's going to be in Los Angeles.
Well, is it?
Yeah, okay. And they've removed breakdancing.
See,
I mean, look, here's the thing. This is the thing that people, I think, sometimes misunderstand. And what Einstein has a really, really like a perfect quote for this. In theory, practice and theory are the same. And in practice, they are not.
Right.
So I think like in her mind, because she's just like, I know the history, I know in theory, she thinks she knows it. But you're not going to compete with somebody who's been breakdancing since they was 5 and like have a passion for it and a hunger for it. And it's not about the books and the theories and the like they feel that shit in their soul. So they're dancing to the music because that's practice. You can learn you can learn all the things in theory about something. Right. But you will never fuck with somebody that's practiced it for 10 years. You could have read all the books you wanted, but somebody that's actually done it, you're not going to fuck with them.
And usually the person that's doing it on and on, day in and day out, is somebody who's trying to use this for a way to get out.
Or they just love it.
Now you getting a PhD and all
you probably love it too, but your love is
and nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but your love is different. You're trying to intellectualize
your love came after, and because it came after, the time that you need to put in to actually be the official B girl is not working. Now at this point, I don't know if you've seen all of them. I have not seen all of them, but I did not see one representation of our people really doing the breakdancing where it came from. You didn't have not one person from the Bronx, not one person from Brooklyn.
Maybe they didn't qualify. Come on.
How is it that these people didn't qualify when they are the makers?
Okay, but like the Olympics,
you have generations of people. You have generations of people that have been breakdancing.
I got you.
And it's a culture within itself.
Okay, but you gotta compete. Like, I don't know about Australia, but like in trials, right? It's an athletic competition. I understand what you're saying. I do. I get it where it came from. But what I'm saying is that people still have to compete. First of all, they have to compete on a local level. Then they have to compete on a national level. Then they have to compete for the trials. Like, it's not a thing where it's not a legacy thing where just.
I understand. But what I'm saying is I'm sure that at some point the information was withheld because
oh my God, you always have some conspiracy.
It's not conspiracy, but at this point, if Ray Gunn could shun out, if she could close out all the real B-boy people or B-girl, I'm just gonna say breakdancers from her area, just to make sure that she was not being overshadowed, right, by real people who are doing this real thing.
By the way, let's be real, right? They might be able to get away with it because it's breakdancing. And in terms of like, babe, until this year, hold on. None of us knew that was an Olympic sport, right? Like, you might be able to get that off. But like, in terms of other sports and things in the Olympics, you're not going to fake it. There's nothing you could do. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for example, like running, archery, gymnastics, like all of these.
Those are traditional Olympic
No, they are.
things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think and that's probably why they just removed it from the 2028 Olympics, is because it's just like, it was something that I feel like they just added because it's just like, it's movement.
No, it's a sport. I mean, you think about it. If your body's in motion to the point where you're able to break something at any given point or whatever, as long as you're using your body in a vigorous way, it's considered a sport. So at this point, breakdancing, I didn't see it coming to the Olympics. Nobody ever thought it would be coming to Olympics.
Facts.
Right? Just like Biggie said, whoever thought hip hop would take it this far. Right? But
I do think if it had became more popular and become like,
well, within the Olympics?
Within the Olympics. Okay, here's the thing.
You know what would made it popular?
What?
If you got real break dancers doing what they were supposed to do, at this point, you're like, oh shit, what's going on here? There's a real competition here. But when you bring people like that bring shame to the culture.
That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, here's the thing. Everybody knows you can compete on an Olympic level as a gymnast, right? So when that little girl is 10 and she has a natural talent, right? Her mind is already on the Olympics.
Right.
That runner, that whatever sports, whatever it is, right?
Trying to make it to the Olympics.
Okay. So I don't think people knew that it was an Olympic sport. So that's what I'm saying. I think, like, had they not removed it from the 2028 Olympics, right? I think what you would have seen in 2028 would have been completely different. I think people weren't aware. It's about awareness and access to resources, because once people are aware, they have access to resources, then they can do it. Nobody knew about it.
If it's true that they removed it, what just happened was you just put a light bulb on all the breakdancers that said, yo, we have to make it to the next Olympic. And then this debacle happens, and then you turn off the light real quick, like a blackout. And all of a sudden it's kind of like
I mean, maybe somebody will appeal it. It's 4 years. You don't know. Like, maybe they will add it.
Well, maybe. But you know what? I don't want to stay on this topic too much, but speaking of the Olympics, have you seen the disparaging distance in the amount of what people are getting paid from American Olympians to Asian Olympians?
I heard a little bit about it. I don't know enough to talk about it.
It's bananas. And I don't know if this is true, but I saw a post where it said that Simone Biles will be taking around, we could estimate, around 38,000. Okay?
That's
38,000, right?
Are you sure? Was that a reliable source though, babe?
Listen, I don't know, but again, I'm quoting a post that I saw. But this wouldn't be the first time that I've heard that Olympians, especially American Olympians, are not getting due compensation for representing the country, right?
I've heard
so
that before.
compared to, like, I'm saying Asian, I'm just using that part, but other Olympians from different countries are getting a how would you say,
a larger reward?
A large sum. Now, some of them are getting homes on top of cash prizes, on top of this and that. One person is actually getting free meals, a house, almost $1 million and whatever. Meanwhile, we have American athletes representing America, and they're going home with nothing, maybe $38,000 and possibly a medal if they make it. Like,
I feel like some people are going to have endorsements.
Well, endorsements usually help some of the American athletes, but the country, for the other people, the country's giving them this.
No, I got you.
Thank you for winning the gold and representing our country. Here, I don't know if it's a color thing. I don't know if it makes a difference between white and black athletes or whatever. But to have Simone Biles, one of the greatest gymnasts to ever exist right now.
But babe, are you 100% sure about that?
I'm not 100% sure, but there's always been a disparaging amount of what these athletes have to go through to make it to the Olympics. As a matter of fact, they have to pay their own way to get there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that we know. Like
that's crazy. Well, yeah. But then they have to pay their way. They have to pay their stay. They have to pay for their eating, whatever. And at this point, you want them to represent the country. That don't make any sense.
I don't know if I'm gonna be real. I don't know enough about it. I don't know if it's part of because the Olympics is obviously a global association and rules that govern that whole entity. So I don't know if that's governed around rules that dictate who pays for what. I don't know.
Come on. I don't. I'm just saying. If America could send
but you don't know
billions of dollars to another country, while we have veterans that's sleeping on the floor. Now you got athletes that's going to represent the country in a different country in the Olympics. Come on, you could give these people something for all the years that they've been doing in training just to have the flag on their back. At this point, what's the point?
I mean, I don't think it's all about that. I think there is a piece of if you're a true athlete competing with those who are also great in terms of just for yourself. I don't disagree with you, but we can't say it's only a monetary thing. I think people who compete at that level and put their body through that, there is a glory, not that they shouldn't get paid. So please understand what I'm saying. There is a glory in competing with the world's top athlete
and then what? Okay, you beat them and you got a gold medal. What can you do with that? So now you have you have to sell your gold medal, silver or bronze medal. Hold on. I understand. It's not all about monetary.
Everybody is struggling.
But while you're in the gym to perfect your craft, to make sure that you beat the other thousands of people that's coming from a different country to make sure they beat your ass. But you're in the gym day in and day out. You don't socialize too much because you want to make sure your body's in tip-top shape. You don't do much, right? Just that. At the end of the day, where are you getting the money from?
Babe.
There might be the sponsors, but then again.
It's not just that, but babe, okay, here.
I might sound a little dumb on this case, but at this point.
But there are a lot of privileged athletes. You know what it is? Because you watch too much boxing and they always got a sad story. Because they always like, I hate to come out the hood. Like, there are a lot of privilege. I'm trying to tell you, especially Olympians, babe, because you have to think about it. Here's the thing. It's not always a sad story. Okay. Come from a privileged family. A privileged family that put you in a position to be an Olympian. So money, right, is Gigi Hadid. Father's a billionaire.
Okay.
Her whole goal was to be an equestrian and an Olympian. Tried to compete to the highest level. Money wasn't the issue. Bloomberg's daughter. Another situation that
I'm sure they would like to make their own money.
We're not talking, babe. No, money has never been an issue for them. You have to understand there's certain things called passion.
Yes.
Okay. So here's because sometimes you see it through a certain lens, right? It's like seeing the world through colored lenses. I mean, rose-colored lenses. So you see everything through that. So you see it through that.
Mine aren't rose.
I know. So you see it through that. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that in terms of the number of Olympians, I'm not saying that there aren't Olympians that financially it was a struggle to get there. But what I'm also saying to you is I don't think that's the norm.
I'm just saying.
So let's not make that the narrative.
I'm putting my body through something, give me my check.
But if you're doing it because that's your passion, that's different. I think that's the thing people don't get. I think when you're driven by money and when you're driven by passion, as whatever it is, whether it's you're an Olympian, whether you're a content creator, whatever. I live in the real world. I understand people need money. I get that. But there's a difference between being driven by passion and being driven by money. And when someone is driven by passion because that's what they do and that's what they love, it's a little different. And so you're only... Child, I can't do it with you right now.
What you mean? Like, I'm just saying, if I'm gonna put my body through it, just run me my check. Now, I understand that a lot of people don't come from money.
You would have put your body through it.
A lot of people don't come from money. All right.
Yes, I get that. I understand I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with you that like they should get for representing the country, for bringing that glory. You're right. I don't know enough about it.
The country gives you nothing for putting the flag on your back.
I don't know.
And trying to win gold, silver, or bronze.
I don't know. I don't know if they give you like I need to see the data. I want to see evidence. Like I don't want to see somebody giving me a post because you sent me something today and that was not accurate. It's like I don't want to see a post.
But let you fuck up though. Let you win that gold, and you come home and
I don't want to see a post of somebody
and I smoke a little weed. Guess what you're gonna do for me? You're gonna strip that medal away from me. Wow.
Why would you strip the medal?
They've done it many times.
After they?
Remember Michael Phelps?
Babe, that's because he was juicing while.
No,
not
it's because he smoked weed at a party after.
No, babe. It's
okay. You know what? Maybe my facts ain't straight.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
It's giving crazy.
Get off of me.
No, my love. That's not why.
All right. Anyway, next topic.
Move right along. Move along.
You said you had a scenario about a woman. What was she doing? Something about not having sex with her husband?
Yeah. I mean, so it was a Reddit post where she basically, it sounded like she just really wanted opinion because you know how somebody's like, am I taking crazy pills? Because I don't understand this.
Okay.
Because she said they've been married, I think about 6 years. She's 27, he's 33. And he sent her a bunch of posts from Instagram with psychologists who basically say when someone withholds sex from their partner, it's essentially kind of a form of manipulation and may be signs of narcissism. Right?
But why did he send that to her though?
He sent it to her because apparently after they have an argument, she doesn't want to have sex.
Okay.
Like she doesn't want to have sex. Her reason is that she doesn't want to have sex because she doesn't feel like in the mood, aroused until the issue
is resolved,
is completely resolved. And that's very like subjective. So you don't know, like men and women are so different because like,
obviously,
yeah, in that, like, in terms of like, if there's a conflict, there's an issue, like he'll have a conversation with you and in his mind, the issue is resolved, right? Because you guys spoke about it, it's done. And for her, it might not be resolved. For her, it's like, no, I still feel upset about this. I still feel some type of way about this. So when that happens for him, he's probably thinking we're good. And she's like, I'm not
like,
good.
how much more of a breakdown do you need in order for a situation to be resolved? If y'all talked about it, y'all walked away. That means you guys walked away in good stands, right?
Maybe sometimes, I don't know, because like because sometimes it's no, it's not. Sometimes you agree to disagree.
Okay.
Right? Because
so if you agree to disagree,
you're not making
that
headway?
means we nip it right there in the bud.
No, that means we agree to disagree.
Let me tell you what I'm telling you on a guy's point.
I know.
Whether you agree to disagree, the fact that we walked away and it was kind of like, okay, bet, cool, I understand. Whether you're lying to me and agreeing to you're agreeing to disagree or disagree, well, whatever it is.
Agree to disagree.
Right? In my mind, in our minds, you said we're done, we're cool, we walked away. Now, some couples like to have makeup sex.
She ain't about that life.
She's not about that life. Me personally, I don't do the whole makeup sex thing because it's just that, now I'm just gonna be fighting you just to put you into submission. This is what you get for it. No, I'm not doing all that.
I don't think that's makeup sex, babe.
No. There be people that argue on purpose just so they can have makeup sex.
But I don't think the makeup sex gotta be rough. Like I gotta throat punch you. And
sometimes it be that, so it's okay since you're having sex.
No, it's not.
But anyway,
like what?
In our minds, we're good. So now, if you're withholding from me at this point, if I do need something from you, you're basically manipulating me.
Well, from her standpoint, right? Which is her standpoint, is that she's not manipulating because it's not coming from a place where I'm trying to control him and I'm trying.
Yes, it is.
Dude, I'm just telling you what she wrote.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just telling you. Yes, it is.
No, you don't know, dude. Like, she
wants the argument to be resolved on her term. She wants to make sure that he understands that she's right. She might have been wrong, but she wants to make sure that he knows that she's not okay until he understands that she's right. And then whatever the reason is that this started, that he will no longer do this again or whatever it is. And at this point, she wants to make sure she has the upper hand. It's usually like that.
Okay. I'm not in her brain. I can only tell you the information that I have. And what she says is that for her, is that she doesn't feel aroused or like in the mood to have sex because she's like, this thing is hanging over them. So it's hard to even get her body to respond, right? I'm sure he doesn't want to be dry banging his wife. So she's saying, like, because of that, oh, that's so gross. Like, seriously.
You know what it is? She's just mad because she doesn't have the victory. There's some women that just love to always feel like they need to have the victory. That's what makes them happy.
Why? Okay, here's the thing.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Like, let me be real with you for a minute. Like, in this atmosphere of 20, 24, 23, and 22, I don't know why every time there's a scenario brought up about a man and a woman relationship, it becomes a contentious type of thing. That's very problematic. Like, I always try to come from a place where I'm like, okay, I try to hear and understand what a dude is saying, right? I try my best to be as objective. I've noticed, like, it doesn't matter who I'm speaking with. If I bring up a scenario, the man automatic, because that bitch lying.
Whoa.
And then the woman's gonna be like, because niggas ain't shit. Like, chill out.
You talking about the guys or people?
You too, bro, because you on that time right now.
Did you just bro me?
I did bro you, because you're on that time. Yo, we are not even trying to be.
Don't speak for we.
No, we. People. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about we.
All right. No, I was just saying, I thought you were saying we as far as women. But go ahead.
Not women.
Okay.
See, yo, chill. Daddy, chill.
What the fuck even is that?
Daddy, chill. Like, not everything has to be a fight. Not everything has to be he said, she said. Not everything has to be a gender war. Like, what are we fighting each other for? It's like every 5, like, your back is up. Like, you back up. You are trying to defend all of mankind.
No, not at all.
Babe, but check tape. You're trying to defend all of mankind. And I'm like, okay, look, I don't know. I'm not in her brain, so I don't know. But I'm just telling you what she wrote. Nah, because that's how y'all be. And it'd be like,
yeah, but just off the scenario, you could.
No, just chill out. Chill out.
She's
like,
saying that she cannot get aroused.
Moving forward, I think we need to come to a place where we really are trying to listen. People will always hear you so they can respond to what you're saying. And that's what we've been doing in terms of men and women for the last 5 years or so. I don't know where it came from, this gender war where we all have our backs up. You say something about one woman, ugh, all women have to defend. All men have to defend. Like, we are in this ridiculous state, which makes absolutely no sense. No part of you, not a single iota, took a moment to try to be like, come from a place of compassion or understanding, not even a little bit. Nah, that's how they beat. Because you know what? Hold up. Because she wants the upper hand. Because she wants this. Because she wants this. She is manipulating. Dude, you don't know this woman.
I don't.
Damn.
I don't. But usually when a woman is withholding sex, usually, right? They feel like I'm going to control him one because fish, I know he fish, wants
blue
this.
Fish, red fish.
He wants.
I do chill.
He wants this, and I could have him under my control as long as blah blah blah. I'm not saying it's all, but we do know people that do that. And
I agree, babe. I get that.
And I get your point too. Like I completely understand. And maybe I'm being a little ignorant right now, but
that was it. Purple Jolly Rancher got you a little bit.
The Welch's grape.
It's not Welch's.
With a little alcohol in it. Come on now.
How do you get this Southern accent? Where does it come from?
Jesus himself stepped on this wine.
Wow, I don't know what Jesus did.
But anyway, listen,
that's all I'm saying.
I don't want to misjudge too much, but when it comes down to withholding sex and you feeling that an issue is not resolved, when you guys walked away from it somewhat being resolved, or at least in the guy's mind is being resolved because we sat down, we talked about it, but for you, it still feels like it's still not resolved, which doesn't make any sense. It's either it is or it's not. If it's not, then talk about it until it's all the way done.
I agree. I think there's a miscommunication that's happening, right? And she may have to take accountability because it can't be that he's thinking it's resolved and you maybe don't have the stamina or ability to or you don't have an argument. I don't know, that you're not willing to thoroughly communicate what the issue is. Because all that does, this is the biggest problem with these types of things. All that does is it plants and nurtures the seed of resentment, because you end up resenting your partner. Because if you always walk away from an argument and feel like he thinks it's resolved, I don't feel like it's resolved, and this is an ongoing pattern, it's going to create this really intense feeling of resentment. And before you know, there's a breakdown in the relationship. So she may have to take accountability, because you need to say, this is not resolved for me. Even if it's like we gotta tap out, right? For the night because we're not going anywhere with this. And that happens.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anybody who's been in a really long-term relationship, in terms of, I'm not talking like 1 year, I'm talking about like years on end, and a level of commitment to be together, understands, there's gonna be times where you're not going to have a solution to what's happening in that moment. And so you got to just be like, tap out, and then we're going to circle back.
And then to resent me for being a man when I just keep something simple. If we talked about it, you agreed to disagree without me knowing, and I'm thinking that we just agreed and we're good, then now you're resenting me for being me and a man. And it's not fair.
I agree. Like, that's what I said. I feel like if I'm not doing it, and this is known, like, I'm not doing it, like, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And we don't always have to like agree, right? But here's the thing. I'm not a person that long term is able to hold things in. If I'm vested in this relationship or any relationship, right? I don't know how to be fake. I don't I know how to be diplomatic, but in my intimate relationships, and I consider intimate relationships the people who are closest to me, I feel like the people who are closest to me are the people that I can be my most authentic self with. So I don't have to fake the funk. I might have to go out into the world and be diplomatic and work with someone that I don't care for and you will never know it, right? Like, I'm good with that. But the people who are closest to me, I am not doing that. So I will tell you exactly how I feel. And by the way, there's a great quote: just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true.
Where you keep getting these quotes from? Like,
I read a lot. I read a lot, but it's such a great quote. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true, because people will have a thought and then they will create a whole narrative and a whole story, right? Doesn't mean that it's true. You might feel that he is not getting who you are and not really like, you're creating a whole situation, and then for him, he probably does get it, and maybe he just doesn't think it's important. And the best thing you can do is say, hey, I get that for you it's not important, but for me it is, so could you prioritize that? Switching that around, because the person understands, oh shit, I didn't know that was important to you. But if I'm telling you, can you look, for me it's important. I understand for you it's not important, but it's important for me. And since I'm important to you, please prioritize it.
Prioritize or validate it?
Whether you want, sometimes it's validate.
But the prioritizing could be a bit much on the opposite end.
But it depends on what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Because sometimes it is a matter of validating one's feelings, but sometimes it's prioritizing doing something. Okay. So if for someone, and you know, love languages are super important for people these days, right? And people have different love languages, and someone's love language might be acts of service, to do stuff for them, and someone else's might be you know, words of encouragement and affirmations and those things, right? And because like gifts don't hold that meaning for them,
right?
And so you might be trying to give me gifts, and I'm telling you, hey, can you just prioritize saying, hey, babe, I really appreciated you today.
The affirmation.
You made that coffee for me. Like, you left me a little ring or whatever.
Meanwhile, I just need a little act of service. You know what I'm talking
about? Always circle back to it.
Know what I'm talking about? Okay. I mean,
so you understand what I'm saying?
Obviously.
Oh my God. I do love you.
You do love me. When I say I do love you, it's like, despite everything.
Wait, remember that? What's that thing they said?
What?
I love you still.
But I still love you.
That's a classic.
It's a classic, but
that's an inside joke.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry about that. Okay. But with that being said, look.
So you understand what I'm saying?
The takeaway is this: you guys having an issue, all right? Talk about it until it's
learn.
Learn. But talk about it until it's completely resolved and understood on both parts. Don't walk away feeling resentment towards the other person, because sometimes you're really resenting the fact that the person could take something, make something, or understand something so easily, and you're still frustrated about it, and you don't know what you're frustrated about.
That's true.
So you're resenting the simplicity of the next person. So if it makes it easier for you, talk to this person and ask them if they understand where you're coming from, and however that you need to take care of it, but don't walk away with a lie.
Or you get help. Like, sometimes people don't know how to communicate with each other. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with getting outside help. Hey. It really isn't. I mean, as a former marriage and family therapist myself. Like, there's nothing wrong with, like, you'd be surprised how sometimes it's just like just not knowing how
to communicate.
Not just like to communicate, how to phrase it to each other, and just small things for one person. It's like I work with this couple that she was really very much wanting things to be resolved. She didn't like things to be vague. She was very upfront and so very direct and not even aggressive. She was like a very mild person. She was just very communicative. And for him, like, and I had been seeing him for like, this is probably sessions way in, and we finally got down to why he was so avoidant. And the thing essentially was, like, historically for him, when there was any type of communication like that with his parents, that usually led to physical violence.
So he tried to avoid that at all costs.
Right, because he wasn't like, he was not that person. And would never like made conscious decisions to never be that type of man. And so for him, he became avoidant of like anytime a conflict, like we're just going back and forth. We're trying to figure out a solution. And for him,
it felt like a conflict.
Yeah, when it became a little too intense, right?
Everything shut down.
And then so it's crazy because I love like moments that happen in things like that where, just
the aha
moment, like you do understand that doesn't necessarily need to lead to physical violence.
Right.
And just making those connections. And that's just an example in terms of like
people's reaction to
people learning to communicate with each other.
Okay.
And so like also you have to show your partners grace, like, because you have to understand, like, you grew up in a different home, they grew up in a different home, communication styles are different. And so when you get together with somebody, it takes a lot of adjustments and learning each other. You can't expect other people to be the same as you. You can't, you see what I'm saying? Because you're like, what is it that you don't understand? And it's like, whoa, you really gotta give people grace. So that's all I was saying.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, and hopefully you'll keep enjoying many more. Please give us a share, a like, a follow, or whatever it is that you got to do to help us with the algorithm.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Please. Thank you. Peace.